It's time to ask the attorney your legal questions. We do this every Tuesday. We got John Haymond from the Haymond Law Firm joining us once again. Good to see you, sir. And let's get right into it like always. Today's question is from Sherry L., who wrote in to say, my husband and I were involved in an accident while out on his motorcycle last week. We're new to Connecticut, but I've seen you talk on Ask the Attorney about motorcycles recently. The person who hit us has minimal coverage, which won't even cover the hospital bill. So my question is, will my uninsured motorist policy cover our medicals, damage to the bike, and both of our lost wages? A good question, one I know you can answer.
Well, that's a very good question, and I'm sorry that you've been welcomed to Connecticut in this fashion, but I hope sincerely that the injuries aren't terribly bad, and I wish you and your husband a very speedy recovery. The law is very clear in Connecticut, Massachusetts, or New York. Regardless of who's at fault, the other party is not legally responsible to pay the medical bills of the injured party. So the most you can look at and receive, it appears as though the minimum policy of the other party. Now, the other party, assuming they're from Connecticut, the minimum insurance policy is $25,000 plus $25,000 per $50,000 per couple. So the most you're ever going to recover from them for all practical purposes is $50,000. Now that doesn't cover medical bills. So where do you receive medical bills? I don't care if it's an auto accident, motorcycle accident, any type of accident. Under the law, in each and every state, you must have your own private health insurance or state health insurance to cover your medical bills. And if you don't have private health insurance, then I urge you, if you qualify, to apply for state assistance. And if you obtain, for example, in Connecticut, it's called Husky. If you obtain Husky, they will, and you're accepted and you qualify, they will revert back to the date of the accident. So all your medical bills will, in fact, be paid. So that's number one. Number two, they, again, are not legally responsible to pay your lost wages other than the $25,000 of the at-fault party's insurance. So how do you obtain that? Well, you know, maybe you have disability insurance at your place of employment. But the interesting thing is this. I noticed that you said you recently moved to Connecticut. Now, I don't know, you know, recently can be an ambiguous type of term. But in order to qualify as a resident of Connecticut, you have to be here more than 185 days, approximately 185 consecutive days.
Right.
Now, if you haven't, maybe your insurance is on your motorcycle is from a different state. So we can look to the insurance of that different state because every state has different insurance qualifications. Good. And so I would say to you, number one, you may have medical coverage on your motorcycle insurance. You may have lost wages on your motorcycle insurance. I'd have to look into that. You may also qualify for what's called stacking. It doesn't exist in Connecticut. It exists in other states where you can take the insurance of your policy as well as every other policy of every car within the family unit and stack one upon the other. And so if you own 6 cars with minimum insurance, you have $150,000 worth of coverage. So there's certainly hope, and there's certainly a lot to explore here.
All right, and here's hoping they can get that stack coverage. Thank you so much, Mr. Haymond. And as always, 1-800-HAYMOND or HaymondLaw.com is where you can go if you would like some good legal advice like that, especially as it pertains to motorcycles. Good to see you again, and we will talk to you soon.